In Africa, when an old man dies, a library burns to the ground. Said by Amado Hampateba, is an emblematic figure for the entire African continent. But did we think for a moment about the contents of this library and its usefulness before? To be an ode in Africa is not only all about honor or prestige in the face of the mystery of life, but also it is to have a constitution of choice, among other things. In Africa, age is a biological factor. That is, you are born, you grow as a youth, you become an adult, you become an old, and you die. In Africa, we give great importance to the number of years. It is our right to respect people older than us, be it in the youth age group, the adult age group, or the old. We ought to respect one whose number of years is superior to us. He is our elder. In our traditional society, there are dedicated terms used to call these people. We won't call them by their names, but there are words and expressions used to call them. In addition to the names we give to elderly in our languages which have a particular connotation, there are other principles.
Quand on dit être âgé, ça veut dire tout simplement que la personne n'est plus considérée comme étant.
When we talk of being old, it simply means the person is not considered as a youth. An aged person is one supposed to have lived and accumulated a certain experience. Hence, being old is just a synonym of someone who has an influence on a number of things in the community. So, if I am, it means I have experienced a number of things, so I have the right to speak with authority on a given domain. You see, for some things done in our tradition, not anybody can do anything as an old man can do. That is a person who has seen it done, and from the experience he has acquired, can therefore effectively also practice these rights. For example, being old connotes respect and awareness of others towards them. Another example is, in a ceremony, an older person comes in. You ought to give him your seat in case he has none. It's a sign of respect and humility towards this old person. It's also a social obligation, moral obligation, and a recognition of the status, the role that this person occupies in the society.
Une reconnaissance de la place, du statut, du rôle que cette personne occupe au sein de la communauté.
According to biological age, people of a certain age are considered old. Professor Antoine Sokpa recalls us the trilogy of the classification of old age according to the World Health Organization.
Le MS donne trois étapes. De 60 à 75, c'est les jeunes.
The World Health Organization identified 3 steps. From 60 to 74 years are the youngest old, from 75 to 89 years are the middle old, and from 90 years upwards are the oldest old. And we might equally notice that 3 are practitioners who are initiated well before that age. For example, a traditional leader who takes over from his father's death in his 20s, certainly he will be initiated. That is, in our community, you will pass through rites of passage so as to acquire certain cultural elements that you were to acquire at a certain age. The first of these things helping you is that you will be forced to be initiated before the due age, also known as pre-initiation, which is a kind of premature, but that does not exempt you from doing an initiation. Then, in those burden responsibilities related to the initiation, in as much as the older people
est prématuré, mais cela ne vous dispense pas de faire l'initiation et puis d'endosser les responsabilités des charges liées à l'initiation autant que le feraient les personnes âgées.
Pre-initiation or initiation, old age and culture. We can grow old without our cultural system judging us as old. Before giving this cultural criteria, Professor Sokpa does not fail to make this scientific explanation.
Disons qu'il faut faire une distinction ici entre le vieillissement et la vieillesse. Parce que le vieillissement, c'est un processus de transformation, effectivement biologique.
If we want to make a distinction between aging and old age, aging is an effectively biological transformation, meaning a loss in certain abilities, mental, etc. A loss in something you had before. That's a process which starts from birth and ends at death. Meanwhile, old age is a state we notice that someone is old because physically or biologically, when we compare his face to that of a young, we equally notice a loss in his biological constitution. That is, his skin becomes stained, he has gray hair, he may be walking with a stick. In fact, there are things when we see on someone, we equally know he is old. Indeed, in our society, there are tricks to slow down aging. We have anti-aging food, and they may ask you to focus on Western foods, rich in omega-3, vitamin A, D, and E, and so on. But I ask myself that our parents in the village who are old, do they take into account all what science says concerning anti-aging food? There are certainly things they take in according to their ways so as to slow down aging, even without being to hospitals. I know some old people in my village who have never been to the hospital, but who are physically strong. When you see them, you won't give them the age they have. Meanwhile, in urban areas, we have people with less than 60 looking so old. We should equally know that the environment in which we are can affect our aging. For example, if you compare someone in his 30s who lived in the village and someone in town with the same age, you might notice a difference in their physical appearance. One might be older than the other physically. That means the environment, the quality of life, the activities carried out predisposes us to rapid aging or less aging.
Ça veut dire que l'environnement, le milieu de vie, la qualité de vie, les activités que l'on mène nous prédisposent à vieillir rapidement ou à vieillir moins.
An old man who dies is not necessarily a society that burns. So as social and technical transformations have allowed us to have elements of safeguarding our heritage, the social function of the old man can only be advisory in addition to the original consideration due to their age that we attribute to them.